So what if we want to use the data? That's, I guess, the next big question. I want to probably put some debugging statements here and just really look at what it looks like. It's going to be something like from form that has our data, messages. I want it to be something like this, and then for each messages as message. Well, it'll be something like if we decided to delete, which is probably going to be like that, delete all, that means we selected that delete all checkbox. So if that is true, I guess, then, and we've got a manager, then we just want to go manager, delete, probably delete all messages, or delete messages, and then pass messages in like that. Otherwise, we're not deleting all, but we're updating all. So we can do something probably just like update messages. We don't have to really do the loop there, I guess. Obviously, we have to create these functions as well. Let's just see what our form data looks like, because I don't actually know. Now, we don't even have a button, so let me just also put a button to the form. The way we do that is here. This is create message. Let's put it next to that one. So we'll do another button. Let's change the color. Let's say bulk edit messages, and we're going to go to the bulk edit URL. Bulk edit URL is bulk edit. Alright, bulk edit messages. That looks good. Now, if we select a message and save, undefined method, well, yeah, we haven't defined it yet, so that makes sense. So let's look at what this looks like. So if we select two of the messages, I just want to see like a var dump messages and just die right after. So if we select these, what happens? We get undefined property messages. Okay, let's do var dump from form instead. So I want to show you this data properly. It's a bit hard to see here, just so we're really following what's happening here. All I did is just install this debug extension. So I'm going to refresh the page. We've submitted the form now, and we get some data. Now look what happens. See how our message data is there, which is all good. Delete all is 0, so it means we haven't selected delete all, which makes sense. We've selected two of the messages, that's why they're number 1. That makes sense. Our messages are kind of on the same row, the same nested level as all the other buttons. So that's not that easy to basically just select them out. But anyway, that's easy to fix. So all we need to do is, instead of adding them here on the root level, let's do another variable, say message group. It's called a group. Message group equals an empty array, and then each message will, instead of just adding it, we'll do message group, add it to that group, and you go basically this, except instead of add elements, create element. Create element basically creates it without adding it, just kind of creating it as an object on its own. Then after we've created all those elements, we can go and add the group. So mform add group, message group, and what else does it want? It wants, yeah, we can set a name, so messages. That's nice. Group label, messages. Alright, let's see how that looks. Let's look at our from form now. See how the messages are nested now, where before they were just kind of sitting on the root level? That's what we want to see. So it's a lot easier to select them all now. So anyway, let's get rid of this. Well, yeah, let's get rid of this for now. Let's just do a get instead of a post. Here's our messages now. Then they're not on a row each. And I saw something. That was that separator. Yeah. So let's do a separator with at least like a row. That's a bit better. This label is not that nice. This is, I guess that's the label. Choose your messages. Cool. Yeah, so we don't even need this. Choose your messages. You know what, I do want to have something below there though. I want it to be like, what do you want with your selected messages? Whatever. What do you want to do with your selected messages? And then you can do this. Alright, so now let's work on the processing of the form. We're displaying the form pretty well. So when we process it, we're going to come in here. And we can select those messages. Let's do another breakpoint and just see exactly what data we get. So we get messages. Messages looks like that. It's just a 0 or a 1. So let's probably extract these message IDs before we go and feed it to the manager. The manager shouldn't really have to go and do any kind of form processing. We should already get everything out of the form first. So if we get our messages, let's do a new array, message IDs. I just want to get the IDs, not this weird messages array. For each messages as message IDs equals, now how do we, it's actually not like that, it's key enabled. Yeah. And then if enabled, if it's enabled, then we add it to our message IDs that we want to process. And the message ID is in the key. So I'm just going to do this for 1 second. Let's just refresh that again. The key, see how, let's just look at it again, right? We have messages. The key is that. The key is message ID 2. I just want to get the ID, which is literally that last digit. How do we chop off the first 9 characters from a string in PHP? Substring, right? That makes sense. So we do, it's the key offset 9. So we've gone through message IDs. Yeah. See how that's 2 and 3? That's the message IDs we selected. Then we can feed those message IDs into these other functions. So yeah, I mean that's kind of weird, but it's just the way we set up our form. We put the message ID, let's look at it. We put the message ID like this, message ID dot message ID, and therefore I had to strip away that again here when we're processing it. But that's fine. I think that's a pretty good way to do it. I mean, of course you could, I guess, kind of do message ID there by itself, but I don't really like that because then it could be, it's just one single number. If you wanted to add more stuff here, that could kind of conflict or it's just not guaranteed to be unique like this probably is.